55. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan Atmanyevatmana Tushta Stita Pragnastadochyate. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, what are these desires for sense gratification? How do they arise? They arise from mental concoction. Very important. And when his mind thus purified, which means that after he has given up all varieties of desire, his mind becomes purified. Amazing. We want satisfaction. He finds satisfaction in the self alone. That means he doesn't find satisfaction in other things. Then he's said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. I mean, amazing, verse. Says first we have to give up all varieties of desire, desire for sense gratification. Why? Because this desire is sense gratification. It arises from mental concoction. What is mental concoction? I just have some information that I processed. I think about it, and then I say this is good, or I say this is not good. So it's mental concoction. Now, whatever is good for me might be seen as bad for somebody else because it's his mental concoction versus mine. So it's just in the mind. So the same situation that we didn't like few years back, we might like today because we've just changed our viewpoint in life. Simple as that. So it's not real. That is why this material world is unreal, because it's actually not real. It's just today I think like this, tomorrow I will think something else. So we have to give up these varieties of desire for sense gratification. So when there's a desire that comes up, we should understand, okay, this is non-permanent. It is temporary. It is binding. It's not good for me. It's just coming because of my mind. And then stop engaging in that desire for sense gratification. Because when there's a desire, and if we engage in that, right, or if we continue that thought process, that is when we will fall. Right. So, but we should say, okay, this is not good for me. So let me not pursue this thought process. Right. Then mind is purified. This is amazing. So very easy to for the mind to get purified. It's just to give up all desires for sense gratification, knowing that it is asat and it's not going to help me. Then mind becomes purified. And he finds satisfaction in the self alone because he knows any other activity is not giving me satisfaction. I'm not finding that satisfaction in anything else except for activities concerning the self. Then he's said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. See, that means that any time there is a need to engage in material consciousness, he just understands, saying that it is obligatory for whatever reason I'm engaging, but that's not really what I want to be doing. I want to be engaged in pure transcendental consciousness, pure Krishna consciousness. I mean, devotees, you please ask questions because these are all very difficult topics, right? And unless I am trying to explain to whatever extent practically possible, but I mean, all of you also need to think about this, saying that, and it's all for practical application because Arjuna here is asking about practical questions. How does he speak? How does he think? How does he walk? Which means that how does he deal with this world, right? So whenever a desire comes for sense gratification, he gives it up, saying that it's not good, it's not required. Right now, whether we will have the strength to do it or not, we'll talk about it in a while. Right? But once we are able to do that, then our mind becomes purified. Then we just are happy doing activities relating to the soul, which means activities of Krishna consciousness, devotional service. We don't engage ourselves in other activities, material activities. We might do it as a matter of obligation, but that's it. Nothing else. Okay, purport. The Bhagavatam affirms that any person who is fully Krishna conscious or devotional service has all the good qualities of great sages. Devarshi yasyasti bhaktir bhagavata kinchana sarvair gunes tatta samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahat gunat manorathena sato davato bahihi manoratha. Because he's always he takes refuge of mental concoctions, whereas a person who is not as so transcendental situated has no good qualifications because he's sure to be taking refuge in his own mental concoctions, manorathena. Consequently, it is rightly said herein that one has to give up all kinds of sense desire manufactured by mental concoction. Artificially, this is very important. Artificially, such desires cannot be stopped. So we are not in this neti, shunyavad. We are not in that, right? We understand that desiring is the nature of the soul, but we can't engage ourselves in material desires. So we have to develop spiritual desires, and one is engaged in Krishna consciousness. Automatically, the sense desires, which means material sense desires, subside without. Look at this, very important. Extraneous efforts. Extraneous means you don't have to do. One doesn't have to do anything specifically for getting rid of that sense desire. It just goes automatically. Therefore, one has to engage himself in Krishna consciousness without hesitation. Prabhupada uses words so aptly, and aptly means what? For understanding how we will engage ourselves, right? We engage in Krishna consciousness, but with hesitation. But the point here is without hesitation, because only when we engage without hesitation, this devotional service will instantly help one onto the platform of transcendental consciousness. That's why I keep saying, when we are doing kirtan, I request devotees saying that shout at the top of your voice. It doesn't matter whether somebody will hear, whether somebody will think what I am doing. No, because that is without hesitation. Just engage. Engage in chanting loudly. Right? Highly developed soul always remains satisfied in himself by realizing himself as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord, not as a competitor to the Supreme Lord, right? I'm the servant of Supreme Lord. If I'm competitor, then I try to enjoy this world. If I'm servant, then I try to serve him. Such a transcendently situated person has no sense desires resulting from petty materialism. Petty. We should remember this. Whenever we have material desires, we should remember this word petty. Tucha, Shullaka, very petty, right? Which means that really insignificant, not important. Rather, he remains always happy in his natural position. Natural. This is natural. Serving Krishna is natural. So we are right now engaged in unnatural position. We are engaged in unnatural. Because engaging with asat is unnatural. Engaging in this material world for our own sense gratification is unnatural. So this is just obligatory. That is the reason why I keep highlighting, saying that please plan Vanaprastha. Please plan Vanaprastha. It's not, practically I did that in my life, right? And it was very important for me because otherwise we just continue in this unnatural position forever. It's very important to understand, saying that, yeah, I'm engaged. Okay, but at least I should not develop sense desires, from resulting from petty materialism. Okay, I have to engage. I don't have any other option. I need to do this to take care of my family obligations, my financial commitments, etc. Okay, but let me not engage in petty materialism at least. Like small talks, backbiting somebody else. All these things are not required, right? Let's not become like karmis. Okay, bad. What is it? Take advantage, best of the bad bargain or whatever that is, right? It's a bad bargain. Material body is a bad bargain. So make the best of it by engaging as much as possible in Krishna consciousness and just engaging with this material world only as limited, as little as required. Simple things, we might go to a shop and shopkeeper might be just some talkative person and he might just start some conversation. Even there, we don't have to engage. They go, this much profit, this product is better, whatever he wants to say, let him speak. Yeah, but there also we should try to convert it into Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we don't engage in that. We ourselves will not engage in that and say, oh, is it okay? Okay, fine. That's it. But if we are really, we are reading nicely, then we cannot stop but telling that person how he is wasting his life in, our own way. And this is important. We should remain satisfied in our bhakti activities. So we will talk about this also. So the most important point here is that we can't artificially give up these desires. We have to develop spiritual desires. Only then the material desires will stop. That is the whole key here. Okay, any thoughts?
Prabhu, I have a question. So, mental concoction.
Prabhu, I'm not able to hear you, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Very feeble. I don't know if am I the only one or
We are able to hear.
you're able to hear? Okay. Okay. Prashant, Prabhu, go ahead then. Let me.
Yeah, are you able to hear me, Prabhu?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this mental concoction you mentioned, right? That it might be just cooked up in our head, and that's how we develop these desires. So what is the science behind that? Is it accumulation of thoughts which are there from previous lives? Because concoction means a mixture, right? It's like not real thing. It's a spaghetti and a very confused state or something, is it? Or
no, concoction is just it's something created by the mind. Basically, that's what it means. Right now, how does it happen? See, mind is the seat for thinking, feeling, and willing. That's what the mind does. Now, technically, the mind has to be under the control of intelligence. Okay, which means how the whole system needs to work is that one gets knowledge. Based on knowledge, he uses his intelligence to decide what is right, what is wrong. And when the mind is acting, mind has to act under the influence of intelligence and its processed decision making, right, so to speak. But mind is so powerful that mind generally supersedes intelligence, which means that it doesn't care for any logical processing that the intelligence might have done. Right, and then it's about feeling. Oh, I don't feel like this. Now, this is mental concoction because whatever is there in reality might not be that at all.
yeah,
right? We might I mean, like, and it is our nature, right? Like, I might think in a particular way, you might think in a different way, which means that it is based on our vasanas, previous life experiences, etc. Whatever, all that is built into our mental process, right? And we just ignore the intelligence and we just simply do on whether I like this, I don't like this, I feel good about it, I don't feel good about it, right? Whimsical, just on the mental platform, no basis. People say, right, I want to do this because I just like this, I feel it feels good. Now, what does this feeling good means? That I'm a demon, and like Putana was a demon and she liked to kill children. She felt good about it, right? So it doesn't mean anything if something feels good, right? So just basing things on the mind is mental concoction. It's just, I might think saying that I'm creating this. Okay, maybe, by doing this, this will happen, that will happen, something else will happen. So I will engage in this. Which means that I created my own formula, my own concoction, whatever you want to call it. Right? So, and few months later or years later, when say our life situation has changed, etc., we might just think about the same thing in a completely different way. So if it is reality, it doesn't change. But if it is mental concoction, it keeps changing. So what I disliked yesterday, I will, for whatever reason, start liking it today. And it's strange. But we do it all the time, isn't it?
yes, bro.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. I hope everybody is following.
Bro, there is a question in chat.
Our engagement case is mechanical so many times, then it is very difficult to give up our desires. Okay, we'll talk about that. Before that, if we think we could chant in so and so time other than Brahma Muhurta, is it considered coming from mental concoction? Yeah, I mean, if we knowing your situation, no. If you are forced to chant in some other time, then it's not mental concoction. But if we think saying that no, actually, you know what? I think chanting at 7 o'clock is the best time to chant. That's mental concoction. That's not based on any knowledge. If we are not chanting loudly, again, see, we should understand. If we are under the force of situation, then it is not mental concoction. If we are willingly trying to take a different route, saying no, I don't think chanting loudly is good, I think I will chant softly, then it's a mental concoction because it's not based on anything else. But force of situation, nothing is mental concoction. It's just situation, right? That's it. Our engagement in case is mechanical so many times, then it's very difficult to give up our desires. Okay, we will talk about that in a bit. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu, for letting me know I was not observing the chat. Okay. Okay, so we are going to discuss the answer to that question in verse 59. I don't know if we are going to get to that, Madhusmita Mataji, but just keep it in mind. Answer to your question is 59. Okay, 58, 59 is where we should get some more clarity.